Okay, go.
So our anterior cranial fossa right here houses our frontal lobe, and also will contain this area right here called the cribriform plate, which are on either side of this middle crista galli. So the middle part is the crista galli, on either side is the cribriform plate, which is where the olfactory nerve axons exit through. So cranial nerve 1, olfactory nerve, is right here through the cribriform plate. Cranial nerve 2 is right here through the optic canal. So cranial nerve 2 is the optic nerve, and it travels through the optic canal right here. Cranial nerve 3, 4, 5, 1, and 6 travel through your superior orbital fissure, which is right here. So cranial nerve 3, 4, 5, 1, 6. Cranial nerve 3 is your oculomotor nerve. Cranial nerve 4 is your trochlear nerve. Cranial nerve 5, 1 is your ophthalmic part of trigeminal nerve. And cranial nerve 6 is abducens. So all 4 of those nerves travel through the superior orbital fissure. So even though we said 6 just then, you don't skip right to 7. We've got to finish up the rest of our 5 first. So we'll do the next 2 parts of trigeminal nerve, and then we'll look for 7. So trigeminal nerve 2, which is the maxillary part of trigeminal nerve, travels through this foramen rotundum, which actually does not look that rotund, but that's it right there. Foramen rotundum gets the maxillary part of trigeminal nerve. Next, we're going to the 3rd part of trigeminal nerve, which is this oval foramen right here called the foramen ovale. You lower your mandible to form an O with your mouth. Foramen ovale. That's just how I'm remembering it. Foramen ovale is the mandibular part of trigeminal nerve. So now we've finished up our 5, and we've already done our 6 up here through superior orbital fissure, so we're going to look for 7. 7 and 8 go back here. This is the internal acoustic meatus. Cranial nerve 7 and 8 travel through your internal acoustic meatus as they exit the skull cavity. So cranial nerve 7 is your facial nerve. Cranial nerve 8 is your vestibular cochlear nerve. So vestibular cochlear and facial nerve travel through your internal acoustic meatus. And now we've moved back to this posterior cranial fossa, whereas the superior orbital fissure through all of the trigeminal nerves and where they exit through those foramen are in the middle cranial fossa. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So internal acoustic meatus gets 7 and 8, which are your facial nerve and your vestibular cochlear nerve. Now we're going to look for 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So 9, 10, 11 go through this huge jugular foramen right here. Cranial nerve 9, 10, 11. So cranial nerve 9 is glossopharyngeal. Cranial nerve 10 is your vagus nerve. Cranial nerve 11 is your accessory nerve. Okay? So now all we're left with is cranial nerve 12, and that's the last nerve that exits before you start your spinal cord. So that's your last cranial nerve. You're gonna look at your foramen magnum and then say, oh wait, we missed one. And you're gonna look for this last little hole. This is your hypoglossal canal. So hypoglossal nerve exits right through that hypoglossal canal. Okay? And then this is your foramen magnum, which your spinal cord goes through. Now, a couple we missed.